Here's a question worth sitting with. If a fox and a snake showed more loyalty and gratitude than a human being, what would that say about us? This Japanese folktale is known as Ningen Mujō. The most heartless is human. The rain came and did not stop. Fields disappeared, houses went under, a mountain village was swallowed by brown, churning water. In the middle of it all, one traveller found an old battered boat and pushed out into the current. Then he heard a cry. Behind the branches of a half-submerged tree, a snake was coiled above the waterline. Its grip was failing. The traveller hesitated only for a moment before reaching out and pulling it into the boat. Not long after, another cry came through the rain. A fox was in the water, paddling desperately to keep its head above the water. The traveller leaned over the side and dragged the fox aboard too. Then came a third voice, a man. He was thrashing in the deep water, calling for help. The traveller reached for him, but before he could act, the snake and the fox spoke at once. "Do not save him. No good will come from helping that human." They were not being cruel, they were being practical. They had seen enough of human beings to trust their instincts. But the traveller looked at the drowning man. He saw the fear in his face, and he saved him anyway. The four of them drifted together until at last the flood began to lose its strength and the waters receded. Eventually, they reached a village. There, a wealthy household took them in for the night. They gave them warmth, food, and shelter. But the house was not a peaceful one. A young member of the family was gravely ill, and no doctor lived nearby. As it happened, the traveller was a physician. He immediately went to attend to the ill family member and treated him through the night. All the while, the snake and the fox stayed by his side. By morning, the patient was breathing easily again. The wealthy man was overcome with relief. He asked the doctor to stay in the village. They had no physician of their own, and people had suffered for it. The doctor agreed. In time, word of him spread. He treated the sick. He helped the old. He refused payment from those who had nothing to give. The villagers brought him what they could: rice, vegetables, sometimes a few coins wrapped carefully in cloth. He became trusted, then respected, then loved. But the man he had pulled from the water watched all of this with growing resentment. He had been saved by the doctor, yet he could not bear to see the doctor admired. Gratitude was simply not a part of his nature. Jealousy was. So one day, he went to the wealthy patron and whispered a lie. He said the doctor was no physician. He said he was a sorcerer, a fraud, a dangerous man pretending to heal, while secretly planning something terrible. The patron believed him. The doctor was arrested, and the man who had saved 3 lives from the flood that day was thrown into prison. When the snake and the fox learned what had happened, they were furious. But anger did not make them careless. They made a plan. The next morning, before sunrise, the snake slipped beneath the front steps of the patron's house and waited. When the wealthy man stepped outside, the snake struck. The bite was quick. The pain was not. His foot swelled. His leg burned. By midday, he could barely stand. By afternoon, the whole household was in a panic. Then, a fortune teller appeared at the gate. It was the fox in disguise. The fortune teller was immediately invited to examine the wealthy man's foot. Upon seeing the foot, he frowned gravely and shook his head. "This is a serious wound," the fortune teller said. "There is only one man in this region who can treat such a thing." The patron leaned forward. "Who?" The fortune teller sighed. "Unfortunately, he is in prison." The patron understood at once. Within the hour, the doctor was released. He was brought to the house, still weary from the cell, and led to the wealthy man's side. He looked at the wound. Then he looked towards the shadows, where the snake and the fox were waiting. He understood. Quietly, he pressed his hands together in thanks. Then he returned to his work. He cleaned the wound, applied the ointment, and treated the swelling. Before long, the pain began to fade. The patron, ashamed of what he had done, apologized to the doctor. He cleared his name and restored him to his place in the village. As for the man who had lied, he was taken away and locked in the very cell the doctor had just left. So tell me, of the three who were pulled from the flood that day, who was the most ungrateful? It was not the snake. It was not the fox. This tale belongs to the old Japanese tradition of mukashi banashi, stories passed from mouth to mouth through farming villages, mountain settlements, and around family hearths. It is known as Ningen Mujō, which can be translated as human heartlessness or the ingratitude of man. Like many Japanese folktales, it uses animals as a mirror for human behavior. The fox is often cunning, yes, it can deceive, it can transform, but it can also remember a debt and repay it. The snake carries older meanings still: danger, water, instinct, and the power of nature itself. Yet in this story, neither animal is the villain. The animals understand gratitude. The human being does not. And that is what gives this story its sting. Because the question is not whether animals can behave like people. The question is whether people can sometimes behave worse than animals. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.